part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Welcome back to Podcast 616, the official podcast of Earth 616. I am your host, Damon Royster, and today we are beginning our Thor rewatch journey, and we're starting, of course, with the original Thor movie, which is called Thor, aka the one with the bad wigs. Oh, man, what a nightmare it was to watch this movie. I'm coming in hot right at the top. Everyone looks surprised. I'm so sorry. Maybe they loved it. This one was hard to watch. And I blame Kenneth Branagh. But yeah, the Kenneth Branagh of it all. Joining me on this, the first rewatch of Thor, are two delightful comedians and actors. First up, we have actress and comedian Lexie Alioto. Hello, Lexie. How are you?
Howdy. Hello.
Thank
you for having me.
Lexie, and how are you doing today?
Oh, fabulous. Fantastic. It is 75 here in Chicago.
Happy that it's time for that 1 week of spring that Chicago gets.
Yeah.
Also joining us in our second seat is a comedian, former student of mine, and the brains behind the account Vegations, which is a Instagram account for gay vegans on vacation.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. This is, of course, Kim Iheme.
Hello. Thank you for having me, Damon. This is so much fun already.
Oh, no problem. It wasn't until you logged on. I was like, oh, right. I taught you once, and that's how I know you.
Yes.
That's hysterical. I love that.
God, and I usually I don't do this. I don't become friends with my students, but you just.
No. And then we had Christmas together.
Then we did spend Christmas 2021 together.
We did.
Love it.
Full circle.
Full circle. And now we're talking about Thor.
we thank Del Close for everything. I'm done.
Praise
Del,
me.
We know you're listening from the beyond.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So you guys, we're talking Thor. I do believe neither one of you are a Marvel fanatic. Is that true in me saying this?
That's the truth. That's the comedy and the truth.
The Marvel was a pandemic gift to me. I watched all of the movies in an order during the pandemic, Lovato, and that is when I sort of got into it. But there's so many, and orders and stuff get jumbled. But I know some things, but I wouldn't go fanatic. I wouldn't say I'm ride or die, but I'm a fan for sure.
Yeah. So, Lexie, this was like your second time watching this Thor movie.
Yeah.
But for Kim, this was your first time.
Definitely.
I'm so sorry.
Don't be. You know what? I have nothing to judge it off of. So I do have like snide is not the word, just straight up rude remarks from friends that are like, did you get options for other Thors? And I was like,
no, yeah, right. Because they're
and they're like, and you chose this one? Like, I wanted to start from the beginning.
Got to start with the OG.
You got to start with, because I will say this movie does a great job of establishing the relationships. These are all, the relationships are all true. That is his brother. Those are his friends.
Yeah.
His name is Thor.
Yeah.
I think what we're feeling is, or at least what I was feeling was that Thor is funny. He's funnier. I think this is a moment where they just cast this unknown actor named Chris Hemsworth in the titular role as Thor. We don't know what Chris Hemsworth can do at this point. No one knows he's funny. They just know he's handsome and he doesn't mind putting on that disgusting wig.
Disgusting. Yeah.
Can we talk about the wig? I hated the wig.
Can I say I'm curious on the color. Like, is it blonde? I was like, is it strawberry blonde? I felt like
a caramel glaze. Yeah, like a caramel glaze. Something's going on there. Yeah.
For me, it was giving the lead singer of Nickelback the whole time. I just kept wanting him to say, "Look at this photograph."
I would have loved that to happen.
That would have been fun. That would have been really fun.
Yeah. It would have been a picture of him and his hammer.
Yeah.
And his hammer.
Look at this photograph.
My hammer.
Oh my my
Oh
God.
my God. I want to jump to so many things. I can't though. I can't.
I
I'm slowing down.
know.
Let's try and go in order of the film.
Okay.
Starting
Yes.
with our director extraordinaire, Kenneth Branagh, who I think put in a lot of Shakespearean energy
For sure.
into
For
this.
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Did
He's trying to like make it about like it's definitely the family, right? Like
Mhm.
all about the family, all about the father, a father complex. Everyone like trying to win their father's approval. A tale as old as fucking time. We
Yeah.
don't care. We don't care.
Where
We
are those
don't
mother
care.
movies though? You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
if I only would have listened to my mother.
For sure.
Where's the honor in that?
Oof. I
Oh,
think honestly,
I don't know.
I mean, Avengers Endgame, I think.
Okay.
But
Yeah, that's true. It does come back a little bit in there.
they do try to clean up the mess they made later
Yes.
with some time travel fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But okay, so here we start on Asgard, and you know, everyone's costumes are not great. Everything just looks slightly bigger than the actors' actual sizes.
Mm-hmm.
But we meet Thor, and he loves his hammer, and he's like super
Loves the hammer.
powerful. And he's like, I just want to destroy and
Yeah.
conquer worlds. This is my Thor impression.
Really, really strong. Really strong.
I feel like his arrogance is like felt in the room
Oh yeah.
Oh
instantly.
yeah.
The
Like
minute he
there,
walks-
I like remember watching the scene where he walks down the like line of men being like, "Yeah, for you." I'm like, have we learned nothing? When was this made? 2011. Okay, so at least times have changed. You're right. Like you mentioned, like it's not the same anymore.
Yeah.
But you're like, oh God, yes. Please praise the white golden boy. Yes.
Oh yes.
We
Yeah,
need
I
more
mean-
of that.
I guess that's my first question for y'all. Like, how do we feel about Thor? I mean, I think now we can kind of like, now that you know how it ends, because hopefully he ends in a better place. But like overall, how was Thor the character for you?
How do I feel about Thor?
It's a deep question.
It's funny. It's hard to
It's
answer
so
it with
awful.
this movie because I like him in other movies so much more. Like you said, like he becomes this comedic relief within the Marvel universe. That, like
Mhm.
in this movie, he's just kind of boring and like it's like and it's funny because not to get too ahead, because this movie that's coming out references Greek gods and stuff.
Mhm.
That like to me watching it, I'm like, this is like Hercules. Like he's just like a son of two very powerful mystical people that is strong and big and not the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like they really tried to show his heart at the end. Like,
Right.
and so I feel like I'm still rooting for Thor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to watch Ragnarok. Is that right?
Girl.
Ragnarok. I call it Ragnarok.
You know what?
Rag the cock.
Ragnarok Thor. Okay. Okay.
Ragnarok. You're gonna like that one. Ooh.
Queers everywhere are sad
You will-
and happy at the same time.
You will like, 'cause I know we're supposed to talk about first Thor, but I do want to say there is a glimmer of a queer Tessa Thompson in Thor Ragnarok.
Yes.
What?
Yes, there is. Yes, it's good.
Oh,
Kim,
damn,
it's
It's
really
good.
good.
It's
You're gonna like
good.
that one. That's my favorite. That's like my borderline favorite of the movies.
Well, this just means
It's
I
so
need to
good.
watch the rest and listen to the rest of the podcast. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Absolutely. Thank you. Absolutely. Listen to these podcasts. Don't watch the movies. Listen to Podcast 616.
Podcast.
But this is where I will be nerdy for anyone who actually listened to this for a comic book lesson. That I will say that the plot of this movie is actually the plot of the original Thor comic books, where Thor
It is.
too arrogant for his father Odin, and so Odin takes his powers and banishes him to Earth. Although in the comic books he doesn't have his memory of Asgard, and he does believe his name is Donald Blake, which I think they made reference to in the movie.
Oh.
And he's like, he becomes a doctor where he meets Jane Foster.
Oh.
And then ultimately he does get the hammer back, and then that's his secret identity. He's a doctor. He's Dr. Blake by day, Thor at night, which is
Okay.
they took that part out, but other than that, it's mostly the same.
Okay, interesting.
Well, let's I mean, I just mentioned Jane Foster, but before we get to her, we got to talk about the second title, the second named actor in the movie, Tom Hiddleston, Loki, God of Mischief. Loki is low key having a some identity crisis, some adoption things. Did Loki, Kim? How did Loki play for you?
I related with Loki in the beginning. Loki, I did. I was like, listen. Hey, I did your callback. It was really
I love it.
I was, you know what? I was watching him when Thor did the walk down, and you could tell, like, we've all been there. Well, I've never been in that position where I was second.
I was gonna say, I was like, you said you're related to. I was like, man, is this your story?
No.
Did you try to overthrow your father for the throne?
Exactly. This is a tale. Tales old time.
Yeah, tales old time. But we all, you can be happy for someone and still feel sad about not getting something. And I totally relate with that feeling. Did I see what was going to happen in the future when we get to that part? No, I did not. But can we all understand where this story branched from? Like all the hurt and pain that was not tended to? Absolutely. So I also felt myself caring for Loki in the beginning. Yeah,
that is true. I have to, Kim, I'm actually glad you're here. You are calming me down about this movie because I have to put it back in because when I first saw this movie, I was like, this is good. This is a solid B minus of a movie.
Sure.
Right.
But it's so strange because hopefully it's not a spoiler. Loki comes back. He didn't die. He's actually in
my notes. I literally have, did he end his own life or is he coming back?
He does come back. Actually, Kim, the next thing you should watch is the first Avengers movie because Loki, that's when he comes back to take over Earth and all the Avengers. That's the first time the Avengers get together or assemble to take down Loki. So definitely watch that one next.
He's using his little figment of imagination powers in Avengers.
Oh, he's rocking those powers.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. This is so great. This podcast is perfect for me because I totally went under a rock and just did not discover Marvel. I was in my little improv phase of I'm making my own comic book on stage. And now I get to relive. Relive it.
They're so good.
Always marketing, always pushing, never stop.
Marketing, pushing. Let's go. Let's do it. I love
it. But yes. So Lexie, how about for you as someone who has seen all the Thor movies? What was it like going back to OG Loki? For me, it's the moment when he's shouting at Anthony Hopkins, "Tell me," and I'm like, this is so different for me.
It's such a beginning for him, right? It's you just see the beginnings of the classic. I hate my brother and I want to win, but I have this darkness within me, and you kind of, you don't hate him for it, right? You're like, good, you should be different, your brother, the golden pony boy, that's strong and mighty, always on top. We want you to own what you've got and bring that up because that's also power. Power comes in so many different forms, right? So you want him to be owning that, but also it's such a good beginning for him, knowing that also the evil and how he, because even in the movie, when right before he obviously dies, Thor even goes to help him, and there's still do they love each other? Are they, is brotherhood the phases of brotherhood and where that goes and travels? But I like it. It's just a very good beginning for Loki because then there's so many other iterations and things that we have yet to see that you see so many different perspectives of.
Yeah.
And also, can I ask, how old is Loki? Because Daddy didn't tell him till he was not getting the throne, that he was pretty much adopted. He had ample time to be listen, you could turn blue.
Yeah. You have the ability to be blue.
You could choose a different path.
Yeah, exactly.
You could become one of the White Walkers that they basically precursored in this movie.
Yes. Also,
I'm so these bad guys are the White Walkers? All right.
Wait, can I ask what happened first? Game of Thrones, like being built, or
Thinking about it.
Thor?
I think. Actually, I think. Wait, did Game of Thrones not start till? I think it was 2011 when they started. But that is interesting because the director of the second Thor movie is the director Alan Taylor, who directed several Game of Thrones episodes.
He was like, those blue guys look pretty good. Maybe we can do that in Game of Thrones, but when they touch babies, babies turn into things. Let's do that. I don't know.
When they touch babies.
Oh yeah, get that as a sound clip. Get that as a sound clip there.
When they touch babies.
I need to lift that one out.
Yeah, maybe we pull that one.
But actually, so
Lexie's blushing over here.
It is 2011. It's 2011. Confirmed.
Side by side.
Mm.
And to answer your question, Kim, of their age, they're actually hundreds of years old. So he had a lot of time because they're immortal.
Right?
Thank you.
They're celestial. Are they celestial gods? Is that what their like
I think
breed is?
Not because celestial gods are like the size of planets. They're huge. They're really, really big. But I think I'm sure they know some celestial gods because they've been around for so long.
Okay.
Can we think about this here? Because I always like to think about the underdog. Your daddy had hundreds of years to tell you this.
Yeah.
And we are getting low-key on that year. You know what I mean?
Oh, and
that year that he finds out.
I mean, if we're talking about secrets in Asgard, like this is not even, there's more secrets to come. Odin is holding a lot more back, including perhaps another sibling.
Daddy's out? Are we saying Daddy's out?
Girl, Thor Ragnarok, you gotta get on.
Thor Ragnarok, you gotta follow up.
Okay, yeah.
The tea gets spilled. The tea gets spilled.
Again, we need to stop making this a clean podcast. Let's make it explicit. Just want to put that note there.
Okay, fine with it. Ragnarok.
Oh wait, we're supposed to be clean. We're not supposed to swear or nothing.
I mean, I think last time I checked, we're listed as a clean podcast, and we do have a fuck, marry, kill to do at the end of every episode. So I just need to change that. Okay. So I think we get Asgard. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
I mean, big ups to Renee Russo. She'll have more to do in Thor 2.
We love it. Yeah.
Some cool. I'll talk about her later, but let's go to Earth and Jane Foster. Can we foster emotions for Jane Foster? How do we feel about her? Lexie, how did you relate to Jane Foster, if at all?
I mean, no, like the science girl, the cute science girl with like older friend Sarsgaard father, and then nerdy girl next door, Kat Dennings, who we love. But I'm so bored. Like, let me have something else. I love Natalie Portman, but I'm so bored. We don't care about the science. I don't care. Why?
It's really, I mean, I can only imagine they were like, hey, let's slow this down for everybody. Like, we need a scientist to explain what's happening. He's from space and he's coming here. Yeah. And let's explain that for 2 more hours.
And then she's immediately like, oh, you're so handsome. I love you. Like, there's no even him trying to win her over. She's like, panties are wet. I'm ready to go. Sorry, not a clean podcast anymore. But it's immediate. It's immediate. Like, it's just like she's automatically into him.
Yeah. Kim, any thoughts on Jane Foster?
No, I agree. I could feel Natalie struggling with some of the words coming out of her mouth. I could feel like she's really also trying to convince herself that what she's saying has power and is heavy and for the plot of it all, but it fell. She's gorgeous. And I think that's what they kind of put her in there for. Okay, she's gorgeous. But again, let's remember when this was filmed, I think it clocks.
True. For the time. Yeah. I'm with you. I can agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
Shout out to women in Hollywood.
Yep.
Women in Hollywood, you were always there, and
you are always valued, babe.
Yep.
You were always valued, and we notice you. I don't want to be a broken record on this podcast, but it's kind of my thing, and hopefully, but it's also my brand. That Marvel, I don't think they do very well with romance, and this is another proof that they have this thing where it's like, well, of course they're going to be together. And also to this day, there's only one Marvel movie with a sex scene. Weirdly, it's the horrible movie Eternals.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like in the desert sand. But yeah, there's never any sex. It's just kind of this like, ooh, I'm a handsome man and I'm a pretty woman.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's got.
We should procreate.
Listen, I feel like there's so much potential for Marvel. Like, also, I mean, I know we're not talking about Idris too much, but
let's not forget about it.
We can.
Can we, like, literally, as a queer woman, I'm like, that little scroll from the bridge for the first moment that we saw. I'm just like, there has to be someone that's like, hey, let me have a conversation with you on the way to this bridge. Like, this is an opener for a romance situation. Like,
I'm with you. I mean? There's missed potential there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or even Natalie could fall in love. Natalie could fall in love. Like, maybe she gets to come to the world and Idris is there.
She needs to get on the bridge, because I'm with you. I wouldn't even need to go to the other side. I would just stay on the bridge.
Right.
Imagine do those golden eyes, those beautiful golden eyes. I'm like, take me.
And of course, we were talking about the guardian of the Bifrost, Heimdall.
Mm-hmm. That's his name, Heimdall?
Heimdall.
The name?
Heimdall.
There's another thing that sounds like that belongs to a woman, just saying. And
ring-a-ding-ding.
Maybe Thor breaks things with that hammer, but Heimdall might be breaking some other things.
Okay, now I really do love this fan fiction that we're writing right now. I like, because like Heimdall, his power is that he can always see everybody all the time, and so I love this idea of like Thor's like, what's Jane up to? And Heimdall's like, oh, she's fine. She's moved on. She doesn't care about you anymore. But really, Heimdall,
they have a family. They have a family, and like
honestly, it's Heimdall, right?
I believe it's Heimdall.
Dell. Like, you getting the Dell. I'm Dell.
Exactly what I was gonna say.
In my mind, I'm like, I'm just gonna call it Idris all day, every day. So thank you for giving this.
And I feel like most people do. This is Idris's part. He's in every Thor movie, and
I'm watching.
Oh yeah, and I think they learned to take the helmet off.
Okay, I just kept thinking when they froze him, I was like,
I know.
Who wants to be the ice on him right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, Idris was so good. Heimdall was killing it. I was also thinking about his skin. I'm like, is there lotion on the other end of this ice? Like, what's happening?
Right.
Is it a vino? Like, what are we using as a, like, in between? Because we cannot have Idris with like ashy knees. Like,
I think Heimdall doesn't need to worry about that. I don't think Heimdall gets ashy. I think his skin is pristine.
He's got baby oil, coconut oil,
and it just secrete, instead of sweating, he sweats coconut oil.
Yeah, when the ice melts, it's coconut oil. Beauty and grace.
That man glistens.
If I were to ever be with a man, let it be Heimdall.
Yeah, baby.
Can you see him on a Dell laptop, just sweating out coconut oil?
Screensaver.
All right. Well, as we imagine our own relationships with Heimdall, why don't we take a quick break so we can, wipe off some of this coconut and baby oil. And we'll be right back to talk about the ancillary characters of this movie. So stick around and we'll be right back with more Thor Talk on Podcast 616.
Hey everyone, this is Don Mike Mendoza, the host of Producing While Asian. Join us in Season 2 for more conversations with actors, artists, producers, and more from Broadway, Hollywood, and beyond, every other Wednesday on the Press Play Podcast Network.
Hi, my name is Sam Post, owner of Phenomenal CBD Store and PhenomenalCBD.com. That's like phenomenal, CBD.com. Tune in where we talk with experts about how the amazing hemp plant can make a difference for people's health and well-being from the Press Play Podcast Network.
Brooks here with the Books with Brooks monthly book club podcast. Here's how Books with Brooks works. We read one book a month, and then we talk about it. Classics like Stephen King's The Shining, debut novels like We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang, and tons of other compelling, life-changing stories, one book and 1 month at a time. So come read along with us, and then listen in.
And we're back. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for having a great break. Okay, we talked about Thor, Loki, and Jane Foster, and Heimdall / Idris Elba, and a little bit about Odin. This is our chance. Any other... do we want to talk about the Destroyer, that big metal machine that shot fire out of its face? Not much to say about it.
Not much to say. A choice.
What's the monster called again?
The Destroyer.
I didn't even get that. I didn't even know that was his name. I thought it was Iron Man's nemesis, or the Iron Giant from that Disney movie from forever ago.
Oh yeah, it didn't.
It reminded me of that.
It gave some Iron Giant energy.
I had some questions, so maybe you guys can help me with them,
please.
So who is in charge of the Destroyer? Is it always the king that has the ability to do that? And does the Destroyer have any type of like emotion or its own person?
So your first question, whoever is the ruler of Asgard controls the Destroyer. It's kind of like their secret weapon defense system. So that's why when we first saw it, it was helping them kill those frost giants that have broken into the palace. God, I can feel my virginity returning as I say these words. The frost giants.
The frost giants
stormed the palace of Asgard. And Odin, ruler of Asgard, released the Destroyer to defeat the ice giants. But Loki...
What I would pay to see young Damon.
So excited too.
Yes.
How dare these frost giants defile the sacred temple of the Asgardians?
You should do an audiobook.
I should have had this energy the whole podcast. My apologies.
Can you please go into character the entire time?
Continue from here on out.
How about this? To answer Kim's questions, I'll do it in that voice.
Okay.
Perfect.
What was your second question about the Destroyer? Does he have
any like free will, essentially?
No, the Destroyer has no emotions. It is an unsentient being.
Thank you, young Damon.
Yeah,
Thank
Lexie,
you.
feel free to join in on this.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to see you go back and forth between the voice when I ask a question and when Kim asks the question. I just think if you're like not celestial beings, but if you've got all this other shit going on up wherever Asgard is, you're gonna send this Destroyer like lame thing. Like, why couldn't we get like a centaur or like some like mystical being that flew down? Like, I feel like we kind of why are we going with this thing? I mean, I don't know. A little lame for me. Again, falling in line with the theme of the movie.
At this point, I feel like I have to slip into Marvel business mode of like,
oh, great. Because this should be a different voice as well.
Well, you see, at this point, we really thought I think they thought like this movie is like it's part set up for the Avengers movie because Loki is the villain of the Avengers, and they know they have to introduce Thor. So I think that's why like the villain, like the biggest villain that we have to fight is the Destroyer, and it's like so lame because I think they were like we don't want to make anything too big. We're like because then it's like well, why didn't Iron Man fly in? Because Iron Man is alive at this point and still around. All
right.
So they're like,
got to build up.
Got to build up. That's why it's like in the small New Mexico town, keeping it all small because the Avengers is the big attack on New York thing that's coming. Oh, we should talk about the most delightful moment in the movie is when all the men in town try to lift Thor's hammer.
Right.
Oh, that was fun. That was really fun.
And I felt like this, my roommate was saying this when I was watching it with her, but she was saying like, this is the most American response to Thor's hammer. Like, oh yeah, we would all just get a bunch of beers and try to like, all right, I'm going to lift this thing.
Let's do this.
It was a tailgate experience for sure.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Oh, 100p tailgating over Thor's hammer. Let's go.
I'm so sorry to bring this up, but we are a pro Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast, so I have to Give space for Agent Coulson and the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., those men in suits who are stealing Natalie Portman's scientific research.
Her science.
Not
I
my
literally
science.
have a sheet of paper that says, Erlin, Dad, Darcy, old professor, S.H.I.E.L.D. equals FBI.
Basically.
Yes.
Girl.
Magic equals science.
Mhm.
Magic is science. Yeah, they're cute. They're fun. Love putting a tent up. Love a little research.
We're all comedians. Should we praise Kat Dennings for being funny?
Honestly, give it
She was
to her.
funny.
She does great. She's in WandaVision too. But I give it to her. Just because honestly, I would want to be cast as that. Like, make room for like a quirky friend. Make room. We don't need all. I wouldn't get a Natalie's part either, but not with this voice. We're gonna get the funny next door neighbor girl.
I think you would have more fun as the Darcy.
I would. And like not even I could fake science. Like she's faking the science. She's like, absolutely the charts, the graphs, the readings. We can all fake it till we make it.
Putting a star map on the table.
I'm just saying, if anyone from Marvel is looking for a raspy girl next door kind of scientist, I'm ready. Kat Dennings, I could be your sister. Let's go.
Oh yeah. Also, Podcast 616 is of course the place to pitch yourself to Marvel because they're gonna be listening.
They are gonna be listening. Cast me. I'm ready.
Well, how about for you, Kim? What character from this Thor movie do you think you would want to play? What part do you think you would want to go out for?
That's a really good question. Anything close to that bridge, just to hang out, with Idris. I think I just like to be on the elbow of Idris Elba. Yeah. Just hanging out, even just being pals.
Dad.
Yeah.
That's for me. Who's closest to the bridge?
The bridge girl. Let's get a
troll. Yeah, I would be a troll.
You're the hot troll.
Troll on the bridge, y'all. Let me be the troll on the bridge, Marvel.
And you just need one kiss from Hyman or whatever to Heimdall to become even more of a celestial being.
Yeah.
We're writing it.
I
love it, Kim.
I support all of this. And I, of course,
who would you be?
Me. I would be Dr. Selvig. Like, Thor,
yeah.
Please. I could make that sexy. I could make that old doctor sexy.
Yeah. Yeah, you could. I could see that.
And I would save all his jokes that I don't think whichever Skarsgård that was succeeded.
Yeah, Papa. I just call him the Papa.
Mm-hmm.
What is the drink that they had? It was the beer in the shot of glass. And they poured it in. They didn't drop it in.
Yeah.
That was elegant for scientists to do. Like,
just like a test tube.
Just like a test tube. I was like, the detail on that really stuck out to me.
Yeah.
Right. I just said stuck. I meant stood.
I get a little fucked up.
And then of course, lip service. Thor has those friends. Good for them.
Yeah.
Good for that.
Good for them. How about that girl? Well, okay, here's a question. There's that girl that's in that little crew. And I'm like, does she pine for Thor at all? Is she just the best friend or are there feelings?
That, of course, is Lady Sif. And she would never pine for Thor. She's all about action.
Nice. Okay,
this
great.
is getting painful for me. Yes, she's a lady of action. They never...
Lady action.
I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think. Maybe something in Thor 2, but I think for the most part, she's just like, no, I don't. Yeah, she knows
friend zone.
Well. Yeah,
friend zone.
I mean, she had her moment, right? When the Destroyer had that whole 360 with the neck and the sword situation. I was like,
she's fierce.
Fierce.
Yeah, she's fierce.
Fierce. And honestly, that's the movie. Thor learns the power of sacrifice by getting smacked in the face. It's just like Chris Rock and Will Smith. Can we joke about it? Is that funny? Can we joke about it now? Thor gets his hammer back. The hammer's name is Mjolnir. which they never say it in
Oh,
this
I
movie.
didn't even know it had a name. Yeah.
Right. They never say it in this first movie. And I think it's because network executives were like, this is too much. We can't name the hammer.
Wait, actually, I think they did name it in a sheet. Well, they showed it on a sheet of paper.
Oh, okay.
There was one moment
Mm-hmm.
where and I was like, what language is this? And now that's what that was.
Oh yeah. Norwegian. He gets the hammer, he makes a sacrifice, destroys Idris Elba's bridge, really putting that black man out of work.
No, that's in Marvel.
You know what?
Yep.
If Marvel's got a problem, come see me, please.
Yeah.
Please come see me. Destroys the bridge. I love how this movie's like, well, we'll never see Natalie Portman again, and we'll never see Loki, and literally they're both in the next Thor movie.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Because Natalie Portman's not in any other Thor movies, right?
Right. She's in the first two, and then
she's in the second one.
She's in the second one, and then she famously was like, "There's nothing for me to do," and she's like, "I'm
Right.
not coming back for Ragnarok."
Right.
But she's
good for her.
But she's
Right?
coming back for Love
I know.
and
I
Thunder.
always was like, good for her. So hopefully this character in the next one will be more exciting.
Well, I mean, I don't think Kim knows, but Lexie, do you know what they're going to do with her?
I think I do. Being a female Thor.
Yeah, she's getting the hammer.
She's getting the hammer.
I'll just cover my ears for a second. Give me a thumbs up when I can.
You got it.
Oh.
It was quick.
It was very
Okay.
quick, very quick. Hopefully, regularly listens to the podcast. We're also excited for Thor: Love and Thunder, but that's on
I'm
the way.
excited.
While we wait for Love and Thunder, here's some loving for ourselves. We're gonna do we do this at the end of every episode. We're gonna do a
Yes.
wonderful round of Fuck, Marry, Kill, Thor edition. Now the players, of course, we're gonna talk about Thor and Loki. Third, it was gonna be Natalie Portman, but now I wonder, should we include Idris Elba? Since
I know.
So,
Okay, you know what,
Gotta.
Natalie, rest up for another day. Let's go to Thor, Loki, and Heimdall. Idris Elba, Fuck, Marry, Kill. I will be a good host and go first to give you guys time to think. Let's see. Thor, Loki, and Heimdall. Who am I fucking marrying and killing? I mean, if this is based on Thor 1, I'm going to kill Loki. He just looks like a ball of stress, to be honest. He's not the fun Loki that we know now.
Yeah.
And he just seems very sweaty and nervous. And, I know he's going through a lot. I'm so sorry, but I'm going to kill you just because I have better options. We're
Sure.
going to, oh gosh, do I mean this? No, we're going to fuck Thor. We're going to fuck Thor before he loses power. Cause I think that'll be a good time. I feel like no strings attached. Nobody's catching feelings. We're
No.
going to do it and we're going to go. That's me and Thor, a one night stand. And I'm going to marry Heimdall because he's always watching. He knows where I am all the time. And, he has the best public transit system in the universe.
Yeah.
The
Specifically that last point. That is a great one.
Yeah.
He's got the CTA of Asgard. Ready?
Yeah. You can go anywhere in an instant. All right. Let's go to, how about Lexie? Let's go to you next.
Okay.
Who's your FMK?
Well, originally I think I'm letting like the other things sift into my thought process because I'm like, I think Loki could be kind of a fun fuck. I mean, like disappearing, like it could be kind of keeping me on my toes. Like
Especially when there's multiple versions of him.
when he's there and then he's there and he's on the ceiling. Ooh, it's little excitement.
Mischievous.
So you know what? I'm gonna go with that just to keep it a little, switch it up a little bit. I think Mary, I'm with you. I think I want my protector, Idris Elba, to be, watching out for me. It feels right, doesn't it? It just feels right. I just feel safe. And then I honestly think I'm gonna have to kill Thor because in this movie he's just not where I want him to be yet. I feel like he's a little not enough of a man for me, which is, sad to say. I wish I could have more for him, but it's just not enough of a man for me.
And you need that. Like I need
him to grow up a little more. I think he
Need to
needs
grow
more
up.
life experience. I think he's a little like, you got to grow up a little more, even though you already are like hundreds of years old.
Right. He's hundreds of years old and he hasn't learned a damn thing.
No, he needs to mature a little more.
And that's sad for me because that's still working for me, at least for one night.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lexie. Kim.
Yes. So truthfully, I'm a person who is always cold. Like I'm always freezing. So unfortunately, low-key, our energies just don't match. You know, I gotta kill you. Now let's talk about like heat here. You know, like I think Idris is a warm-blooded individual. I feel like he'd be like a nice, you know what I mean? Like I just got out the shower and like my toes are cold. Let me put my toes underneath you, Idris. So I'm gonna go with
stand on me
with Heimdall to marry him.
Yeah.
So I gotta kill. Who I'm gonna get into bed with? That leaves Thor.
That leaves Thor.
At least Thor. And you know what? They say you can judge a man based on their hammer. So
they always say that. They always say that.
That is a classic line.
Classic.
The hammer could be fun. The hammer could be fun.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? A little ricochet, a little earthquake while we quaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, baby.
I mean,
giddy up.
Because there's a thing, the hammer, it's got that retraction thing. So
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I like a person who brings toys in the bedroom.
Yep. Thor
I can imagine some things. I don't want to say we're a clean podcast, but you know, there you can imagine some things with a hammer. I'm just saying, cool.
So that's my choice based on heat.
Yeah.
And accessories.
I like it. I like the temperature check.
Thank you. It's true to who I am.
Oh, I love it.
I love it. You know what? I love Fuck, Marry, Kill. I think it really brings
Me
people
too.
together.
I think it does.
Just don't play it with your friends. Just don't.
No. Oh my God.
Yeah, no.
Unless you want to end that friendship.
Exactly.
Especially if they all do improv.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification.
Yes.
God. All right. Well, thank you all so much. I think, how do we leave Thor? I think coming into this, it was a D+ in my mind, but talking it through with you guys, I think we bumped it up to an average C of a movie.
Sure. Yeah. As a beginning, introductory story to him, I could go with that. Yeah.
I'm excited to see Meg.
It gets better. Yeah, it gets better. That's the best part.
You know what? Yes. Thor gets better. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. But thankfully we don't get better because we're already hella good. Let's do some plugs. Lexie Alioto, where can we find you on the internets if we wanted to find you?
Oh yeah, you can look me up at Alioto. Well, no, that's Alioto 92. That's my Insta. Not giving away my age, but I just did with that hot year. Great year.
And you can find me on Instagram. I am at Kim Chasing Burley, Berly. It's just me chasing the other part of my name.
Yeah.
Nice. Beautiful. And for me, if you want to follow this podcast, Podcast 616, we're on Twitter at Podcast 616P3. It's part of Press Play Productions. I'm Damon Royster. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Damon Royster. On Twitter, I'm Damon Royster 88. Just Damon Royster on Instagram. Producer Michael, if you want to hop on the mic real quick, we gave the movie a C. What grade would you give this podcast?
Well, I've ranked it higher than the movie. I'd give this one an A.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Michael,
you are the Heimdall of this episode.
Yeah, baby.
Truly.
You guard that bridge.
Like you sent that Zoom link just like Heimdall would send that rainbow bridge. Man, you are the Idris Elba of Podcast 616.
I want to hang on your elbow.
I want to hang on your elbow.
So much fun.
Thank you all so much. Sorry, hang on your elbow really got me. Kim, Lexie, thank you guys so much. You are the Thor crew. Man, I will never forget how we talked about Thor together.
The originals. Don't forget the originals.
The originals. Ooh, I gotta do 3 more Thor podcasts, but I will never forget where I started.
That's right. We are the root.
Yeah,
all right. Thank you all so much for listening. And of course, please remember that with great power comes even greater responsibility.